Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Wednesday, November 2nd, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with news of impending war in Saudi Arabia just 3 days away from WWE's Crown Jewel Premium Live event. As of yesterday, Crown Jewel was still scheduled to take place as planned in Mirsul Park in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Saturday. That's according to the Wrestling Observer, with WWE officials reportedly monitoring the situation. The Saudi government has shared information with the United States regarding an imminent attack by Iran on energy infrastructure targets within Saudi Arabia and Iraq, according to an exclusive report in the Wall Street Journal. The Saudi military, as well as the U.S. military and other neighboring nations in the region, were put on elevated alert, according to a Reuters report, with the White House and National Security Council indicating that they, quote, will not hesitate to act in the defense of our interests and partners in the region, unquote. WWE personnel have typically arrived in Saudi Arabia midweek prior to their weekend shows in the kingdom. We will keep you updated on this situation as it develops. Turning to NXT, R-Truth appeared to suffer a knee injury on last night's edition of NXT Live on the USA Network during the opening match against Grayson Waller. Truth could be seen clutching his knee in pain immediately after diving through the ropes to the outside. The injury caused WWE officials to stop the match, awarding the decision to Waller. In the show's main event, NXT champion Braun Breaker teamed with North American champion Wes Lee in a failed effort to take the NXT Tag Team title away from Pretty Deadly, who retained their gold when Kit Wilson rolled up Lee for the pinfall. Breaker was attacked after the match by Von Wagner, who raised Breaker's NXT title belt in the air to end the show. Also on the show, Alba Fire spoiled the in-ring celebration of Mandy Rose's full year as NXT Women's Champion. During the promo segment involving Rose and her Toxic Attraction partners Gigi Dolan and Jayce Jane, Fire hit the ring and put Dolan through a table, then threatened Jane and Rose.
Mandy, this week I take out Gigi Dolan. Next week I take out Jayce Jane. And in 2 weeks' time, I'm taking that title.
In other results, Kiana James beat Thea Hale of Chase University, Odyssey Jones pinned Javier Bernal, and Indy Hartwell defeated Zoe Stark. With some more NXT news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
5 NXT talents were cut from the roster yesterday by WWE, according to PW Insider. The most high-profile of the 5 is Bodie Hayward, who was being used on TV as part of Andre Chase University. Hayward, using his real name, Brady Booker, posted an emotional message to Twitter yesterday evening, addressing his release.
Brady Booker here to tell you that I was just released from the WWE. I'm hurt. I'm embarrassed. And Brody's, I'm just down bad. For the last 18 months, Andre Chase University and wrestling has been my whole life. But I am no stranger to adversity. Adversity is something that has come up my whole life, and I've always found a way to get on top. I will do it again. I'm Brady Booker, and I'm here to stay.
The other 4 talents released were Sloane Jacobs, who had been with the brand since last March and appeared in the Women's Breakout Tournament, Damaris Griffin, who had appeared on NXT Level Up, Erica Yan, a recruit from China who had been appearing on NXT since late 2021, and Ru Feng, another Chinese recruit who had made several appearances on NXT and 205 Live. This is the first significant roster cut since the retirement of Vince McMahon and the instatement of Paul Levesque as Chief Content Officer. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In ratings news, Monday Night Raw live last Monday night on the USA Network drew its smallest audience in 5 months, according to Showbuzz Daily. The go-home episode leading into Crown Jewel attracted an average of 1.501 million viewers, down 8.53% from last week. The first hour drew 1.55 million, then jumped to 1.59 million in hour 2, before dropping to 1.36 million for the third and final hour. The rating in the 18 to 49-year-old key demographic was 0.36, down 20% from the 0.45 rating last week, according to WrestleNomics. Raw came in at number 7 on cable TV for the night in the key demo, down from number 6 last week. This was the smallest total audience for Raw since the May 30th Hell in a Cell go-home episode, and the lowest key demo rating on the USA Network since December 6, 2021. According to Post Wrestling's John Pollock, in Canada, Halloween didn't damage Raw at all. It did 259,900 viewers and 145,300 in the 25 to 54-year-old demographic as the show returned to Rogers Sportsnet 360 after airing on OLN last week. Those numbers are considered very strong. It was Raw's most watched episode in Canada since September 5th, and was up nearly 70% in overall viewership from 2 weeks ago on the same network. In AEW news, during an interview with Florida's First Coast News, Tony Khan provided an update on the condition of Hangman Adam Page and further details on the concussion he suffered on October 19th during his Dynamite main event against AEW World Champion Jon Moxley.
Do you have an update on Hangman Page? How's he doing?
He's doing really well. I talked to him just in the past 24 hours, and also, saw him not long after he was officially cleared. Of course, I saw him right after he came back, and he was not long after we took him to the hospital. He got out, and it was great to see him in good spirits that night. And about 90 minutes after he got hurt, he was smiling and feeling pretty good. So that's about as fortunate as we could be, given that he got knocked out in the match. And I thought the doctors and the referee handled it really well, because that's what you have to do in a big fight. If one of the fighters gets hurt, that's what you need as a referee that's going to come in and do the right thing, stop the fight. And then Hangman, the doctors took care of him, got him out of there. John, of course, I thought handled it very well in his interview. He was very classy afterwards.
Page sustained the injury, taking a lariat clothesline from Moxley, then hitting his head on the mat. He remains inactive under AEW's concussion protocols, and it's not known when he'll be cleared to return to action. Dynamite takes place tonight at the Chesapeake Employers Insurance Arena in Baltimore, and WrestleTix has reported that 2,599 tickets had been distributed for the event as of Monday. That leaves 844 tickets still available for the show's 3,443-person capacity setup. AEW's previous visit running the same building for the May 4th Dynamite and Rampage tapings drew a crowd of 4,535. With some game-changer wrestling and streaming news, here is the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
GCW has officially joined the premium streaming service FITE Plus, according to an announcement from the company yesterday. An archived GCW video library of 240 past events, in addition to all upcoming GCW live events, will now be available through the service for a cost of $4.99 per month, according to the announcement. The first upcoming event available to FITE Plus subscribers will be the Nick Gage Invitational on November 12th, live from Chicago. Said GCW founder and CEO Brett Lauderdale in the announcement, quote, "As our schedule becomes busier and our catalog continues to grow, we want to make it easier for all our fans to follow us on this journey. We are proud to continue our partnership with FITE and bring our entire library, along with all future live events, to FITE Plus, which will allow us to strengthen our relationship with our existing fan base, while introducing game-changer wrestling to a new generation of indie wrestling fans." End quote. FITE has been expanding the independent wrestling offered on its premium platform as of late, also announcing the additions of Black Label Pro and Wrestling Revolver on Tuesday. Already carried on FITE Plus is content from the NWA, MCW, House of Glory, and OVW, among others. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And finally, in some New Japan Pro Wrestling news, IWGP World Tag Team Champions FTR will be defending the title against the United Empire's Great Okan and Jeff Cobb next Saturday at the final event of the Battle Autumn Tour in Osaka, Japan, according to an official announcement. FTR won the IWGP tag titles from Cobb and Okan last June at AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Saturday's rematch will be FTR's second defense of the title, their last defense taking place October 1st against Aussie Open at New Japan's Royal Quest II show in London. Also officially announced for Saturday's Battle Autumn show is IWGP World Champion Jay White teaming with Kenta and facing Kazuchika Okada and Tama Tonga in the main event. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.